We're going to call the meeting to order. I would ask at this time if there are any additions to the agenda. Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Second it.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved as presented. We have an item which is the review and approval of the audited financial statements. So at this time, we're going to hand things over to our CFO, Ryan Luciano.
So on the 25th of November, Dylan Grant Thornton came in and presented these statements to the audit committee and went through them. Audit committee has approved them and made a recommendation to put them to council for approval. So I just wanted to go through some of the material. I know this was sent out in the package beforehand, but I just want to walk through some of the items that I've highlighted just to make note of what was discussed with the audit committee. So just a reminder, when the auditors go through this, when they look at our statements, they're really doing it as a review of risk. And two of the major risk items that always come up are revenue, as well as management override. And this is similar across pretty well all municipal audit engagements. And Grant Thornton just upfront gave an unqualified opinion, that's a good thing. So that means that everything was clear. But they did note that council should be aware that there is three major estimates that go through these statements. They're related to sick time, pension, and the asset retirement obligations. For assurances on those, we do have those reviewed by actuaries and engineers, and they give an independent report for Grant Thornton to review. So up on the screen, we have the independent auditor's report from Grant Thornton, and then just goes through, and I just highlighted the most important part of that, which is, in their opinion, the accompanied consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material aspects. The consolidated financial position of the town of Port Hawkesbury as of March 31st, 2025, and the consolidated results of its operations and cash flows for the year ended in accordance with the Canadian Public Sector Accounting Standards. So that's really what you're looking for in any audit report of financial statements. So there's some other material in this once it's final, which will be passed on, which is essentially just going through what their responsibilities are and what management responsibilities are. So the first item I'd like to move on to, is the non-consolidated statements. These are really our internal statements for management and council. It gives really just the breakdown of the town operations and water utility. When we look at the consolidated, that'll bring in much more detail with relation to Landry Lake Water Utility that gets brought in, as well as joint ownership of, or joint management of, Eastern District Planning. So we'll just start at the top here. I've just highlighted some sections which I think are worth noting. Town's in a great position. So at the end of the year, we had 1.2 million in cash available in just our operations. It was down last year for a couple of reasons, which I've just highlighted here. The big items are almost $1 million in grant revenue that's needs to come in. So we're just waiting on that to be released from other governments. Some of the water utility funding is a portion of that. So that would be the Pitt Street tank. And as well as we have self-funded the construction of the Public Works building, which we'll issue a debenture for in the spring. So that cash will be coming back into our operations. It's just temporary delay in getting that. On the liability side, you'll see the trade payables were up a bit. So that's the money that we owe to like our regular operations. A big part of that is the capital that we did last year, the invoices coming at the end of the year, not being paid until April. And the other line that's worth noting under the liabilities is the $700,000 due to the operating reserve. That would be the difference in what we collected in taxes and revenues versus our expenses. So that will go into reserve for the town to use at a later date for reinvestment. Overall, no concerns on the balance sheet side for the general operations. Looking at the statement of operations, so this is the money that we collect through taxes, sales of services through the civic center, rentals, any of the sewer services we sell to other governments. We had budgeted 9.1 million for that. We came in over budget at about 9.7, so overshot that target. As well, you'll see the expenses were pretty well in line with budget. So good job on budgeting there. Everything was within reason. The one line that would be out over budget is this financing and transfers. That's where that $700,000 in surplus from the statements gets transferred into reserve to bring that number down to zero. So overall, great situation to be in. As we go through a little further, this is the general capital. So this is really what the investment of the town into capital. Town spent roughly 7.5 million in capital last year, which is a pretty significant investment for the town. A lot of that relates to the biggest item for that would be the airport revitalization of the tarmac, as well as a lot of the AT work, most of which has been paid for by grants, either from the federal or provincial government or a combination of the two. And the other thing worth noting is this interim financing. This is related to the Public Works building. This will be paid off next spring with the debenture. So overall, great position to be in. Town did a lot of work last year as far as capital goes. As we're scrolling through, these are all just supplemental schedules to the statements. So which is just a breakdown of a little more detail. Get down here to just show where the town's at as far as financial position. As I get there. Oh, sorry, I passed it. Wanted to get into the reserve section. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This is actually going to come in the consolidated where you'll see the part that I wanted to mention. So I just want to jump down quickly to the water operating. Okay. So under the water operating, so this is the water utility. Just the only note here is we're pretty well right on target with the estimated water sales. Expenses were a little more than expected. So we ended up with a slight deficit in the water utility this year of $146,000. Good news is the water utility is actually in great shape. Currently, even with that deficit, we have surplus funds of about $769,000 available for that. I will note though that we're still working off of rates from 2016 for the water utility. So it's about 10 years since we've had a rate adjustment. So, but overall, non-consolidated is really great shape. Really echoing what Grant Thornton said of how good a job previous staff has done managing this. So any questions on the non-consolidated before we move on? Okay. I'll move on to the consolidated. So this is really what we're here to approve today. These are the ones that will end up being submitted to the province. So this is a consolidation of all of our operations together, all of our reserves, all of our capital in one. So I just noted a couple spots here. These three items that I have highlighted, sick leave, retirement benefit, and assets retirement obligations, those are the items noted by Grant Thornton where the estimates are really made. But they've been reviewed independently. I will note too, these are non-cash items. So we don't actually have to pay these liabilities out unless something were to happen to operations. If we had to wind up operations, which there's no risk of that in the near future or even in the long term. And then also, again, just to highlight how much investment the town has done into its capital renewal. So roughly $9 million into that, which is pretty significant. And that's including water and Landry Lake. So this is the overall operations of the town. We had roughly $19 million in revenues. And then the expenditures of 11.5, coming in with an annual surplus of 7.8. Keep in mind that this is not this is including like capital expenditures and everything like that. So there will be some matching in the future for that. So just overall, the position of the town as far as surpluses go. Sorry, I'm jumping through all of these notes, which give like individual details. Sorry about this, guys. I've been jumping around quite a bit. Wanted to get onto the reserve information to give an idea of where we're at as far as long-term cash availability. Apologies.
Just while Brian is looking for that,
Yeah.
maybe just a little bit of information on utility. So Brian had mentioned that we have a deficit on our own utility at this time. We're doing a rate study for Landry Lake Water Utility. So that source water, that's our raw water source. So that's going to increase or decrease through that rate study. And we'll be able to utilize that information then to complete a rate study for the Port Hawkesbury water utility. It is important to carry a healthy reserve for a water utility because many times our expenditures on that side can be quite large. So we have a mandatory reserve that we have to hold, and we will move to adjust those rates to ensure that we keep putting money into reserve for the utility.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. So I'm on the sheet that I wanted to bring up here, just so the council is aware where we're at as far as reserves. The town has extremely healthy reserves. Every year when the province releases their financial indicators, the town far exceeds what they consider like good standing for that. So as of right now, the town has just over $5 million in operating reserve. So that's money that's set aside for that kind of quote unquote rainy day fund. So that's available for the town for any future capital, any operational shortfalls. So extremely good position to be in. Also, as far as other reserves go, what used to be referred to as the gas tax fund, which is now called the Canadian Community Building Fund. We have about $1.9 million in there, allowing us to invest that into various projects in the town. I think last year we did pretty significant, or this year as well too, pretty significant paving with that money. Waterfront, we'll skip by. So those are the big funds for us right now. We're in good shape. I don't know if council has any specific questions regarding the statements or operations as of last year, preparation of statements, but we'll just open that up to the floor for any questions.
Thanks, Brian. Any questions for Brian on any of the reserve reports? And Brian, you had mentioned the municipal indicator report that the province normally does. Is that something that they publish on their website?
So they'll actually send a copy of that to us.
Okay.
We should have a copy in, I think, early January of where
Okay.
we're at, which we'll bring forward to council for review.
Awesome.
A note about that, though, that is a lagging report, so it'll actually be
Mhm.
related to 2 years prior.
Right.
Our goal is always to get in a better position. I
Right.
know from looking at the numbers this year, we've actually improved that position.
Oh, that's good news.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
looking forward to
based
seeing
on
a
these
copy.
statements, we're believe we should be in all green for all the areas. We won't see that report for another probably 12 months.
Okay. Well, thanks,
Okay.
Brian.
Okay. So as I said, the 25th of November, these statements were brought forward to the audit committee. Audit committee made the following motion to approve the March 31st audited financial statements and recommend send that to council. So the motion that we're looking for today would be that the town approve the Port Hawkesbury, town of Port Hawkesbury approve the consolidated and non-consolidated financial statements ended March 31st, 2025.
Okay, thank you, Brian. What is the wishes of council?
I'd make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Councilor McCrory. Do we have a seconder? Is it maybe somebody has
I
seconded?
think everybody's on mute there.
I think
I'll
everybody's
second.
on mute.
I'll
Okay,
second.
Thank you, Todd. You're the fastest one to unmute. So we do have a motion for consideration. Discussion on the motion. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. Does that conclude today's agenda item, Brian?
That's everything.
All right. So seeing as we don't have any additions, I would ask for a motion of adjournment. Or I guess we're completed, so we don't really need a motion of adjournment. I'm just going to adjourn. Have a wonderful snow day, everyone.
Okay, stay safe.